What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic, and today's project, the slammed Volkswagen Beetle. I think this is actually called the Stance Edition. Yes, it is. No engine swap options on this one today, just with the B6 engine. Looking pretty tasty in the back here. There's obviously not a lot to it. There's a lot of work that needs to go into this one. So let's see what we're going to do today. Well, obviously, we'll start with that engine. We're going to build that engine back up. We're going to throw performance parts in it. We're going to make this classic little Beetle as fast as it possibly can. And as regards to the looks, I'm quite happy with how this is looking in this stance-wise. I don't know if I quite like this Formula 1 style front splitter. That may be swapped out. Loving these fenders. I think they're great. And I don't know what to do on the boot here. There are a few options. We'll just have a quick look in here. I was already in it, having a look through. We just go back to the back end there. I think that's what's on it at the moment, the drag wing, but I'm not 100% sure that's what I want. So we'll have to have a look at what other options we can put on when it comes back to that later. But there are quite a few swapping options here for the Beetle. It is going to be a bit of fun, this one. I am looking forward to it. Let's get stuck in. Let's get this one over to the car wash, get it cleaned up, ready to start working on. Here we are then at the car wash. Let's get this Beetle cleaned up and have a better look at her. Pretty confident that's the wrong colour door. That red's pretty tasty though. That's quite a fiery red. It may actually stay in that red. I do really like that. What's on it though doesn't look too bad. That looks like it'll be repairable. So does that and that. So that's not too bad. Let's get the interior done. Let's get it back on the lift and let's get what little of left of that engine ripped out. And we can start stripping this car down. Here we are then with the first look at the underside, and the first thing you'll notice about this config mod is that they haven't quite lined up the rear drive axles, which is unfortunate. But to get the gearbox out, we need to get these wheels off, so let's crack on with that. Nice and easy. Now let's just get this gearbox out. There was no drive shaft in. This car is pretty bare, so we are going to need a lot of money and a lot of work on this one. But that's that done. I did already drain the oil just to be on the safe side. I couldn't see an oil pan, but I just got stuck. I just grabbed it and drained it anyway. So let's get this engine ripped out, what little's left of it anyway, not a lot. Let's get you put away and let's just start stripping the body panels off. It really doesn't matter, does it? Let's just get involved. I'm going to get this done and I'll meet you back, and next up we'll be cracking on with that suspension. The body is all stripped down. I was just having a look. I was going to clear the engine bay, but by the looks of it, there is very little in it, just that oil filter there. So let's just crack on and go straight in and get this suspension done. Oh, that's it. We got no front. I'll just check that it's not meant to be there. No, it isn't meant to be there. So you got no front cross member, just the upper and lower suspension arms with the shocks at the back there, at the front even. And double up and lower suspension arms and the shocks at the back as well. Very nice and simple. I'm just going to start getting this one torn down. We'll get it all torn off and then we'll start looking at what body panels we can buy to go back on this car, because there is no point doing a video of me stripping that engine. There was literally nothing on it. So we'll crack on with this and we'll go straight into getting the body panels back on, deciding what we are going to buy to go on that. So we have everything stripped off the lovely Volkswagen Beetle here. Looking pretty good, to be honest with you. Frame condition, 55%. We do need to get that up to 100%, so let's crack on with that. On you go. Let's get you on 500, not bad. Let's get this done. As soon as this is finished, we'll start getting the body panels back on. I'm just going to chuck them on. Or start chucking them on, and then we'll come back to the bits I'm not 100% sure of. So I'm going to get that done now, and I'll see you in a moment. So here we are then, all of the body panels back on the lovely Beetle. Obviously, apart from the few bits that you can see. We'll start with the trunk. Now, obviously, the one it wants me to go with is this one with the ridiculously high wing. I like it, but I just think it's a bit too much, and I can't really decide I can't even click it now, which one to go with. I prefer, I think, the lower wing, but I'm still not 100%. Could be, because then you've also got the medium wing, which is still pretty big, but it looks pretty sweet still. Well, if in doubt, I always said go for the middle, so we're going for the middle one. I'm going to put my Virtual Mechanic bug license plate on there. Now, the front and rear bumpers, these aren't the ones that are supposed to be on it. It wants this one. I just don't like it. It's just a little bit too much. And the options are that fully fledged bar with bumper stops, which isn't the best. I mean, I like it, but it's not really the look we're going for. Or this sort of like ribbed bumper stop, which I also don't like. So for the first time ever, I think I'm not going to 100% complete a car because I'm not going to put a front bumper on it. I'm just going to leave it empty like that, which is weird. I don't know how I feel about it. And for the rear bumper, that's the one that's meant to be on there, and I do really like it, especially in comparison to the other two, which are the one with the bumper stops or the one with the rounded bar. They're both just a bit meh, so neither of them are going on it. I will stick with the original one that is meant to be on there. And that is the final image we're going for. We've got the rear diffuser at the back, a big rear wing or wang, and no front bumper. Because I don't like any of them, I'll be honest. I just want to leave it plain like that. Which means for the first time ever, my body is never going to be 100% completed. Which is a shame. We're always going to be missing that one part. But anyway, let's take it over to the paint shop now and pick a colour. Although this red is sticking on me. I'm quite liking it so far. But we'll see if there's any liveries in there or anything like that. So I'll see you guys in a few moments. Here she is there, all painted in this lovely metallic red. Very sort of a deepy metallic red there. Absolutely loving this colour. It's come out beautifully. I also repainted the headlights so that they're in a gloss black. Along with the mirrors, they're also in a gloss black now. Giving it a bit more of a darker look. Bit emo, it's like it's wearing bloody eyeliner. There we go. This is the emo Beetle wearing its eyeliner. Looking really smart. Very happy of how it turned out. Probably going to put gloss black wheels on it. Maybe with a white wall, just because they might look quite smart. Or maybe the race tyres with the red racing stripe around it. They might look quite cool as well. We're going to try and match some reds and some blacks into the suspension and into this engine bay. Probably not too many, although I really do like this red, so we'll see when we get there. But let's move on. Let's get all the suspension back in this car and ready to go. Also stuck with the Porsche is it the 928 seats? I can't remember, but the Porsche seats in there because they look quite smart. But let's get it back on the lift and let's crack on. Let's have a look at what we've got going on with the suspension then. I've gone for red on red this time, which is something I definitely never normally do. Maybe a bit too much. Don't know. We'll find out in a minute when we get them on the car. Obviously, we got front and rear shocks today. Rear shocks are slightly shorter. Looking pretty cool on there. Maybe a little bit too much, but we'll find out once we get them on the car. So let's start chucking all of this back together. Obviously, we know no front cross member, no bushings on that section today. Straight into the knuckle housing, and basically this is pretty much it until we get the suspension on. But let's have a look. I've gone for red uppers and I've gone for black lower suspension arms, or bottom, whatever you want to call them. I think they look quite cool. I'm happy with how they turned out. The one thing is how does this shock look on here? Should I have gone for black springs? Should I have gone for black springs? I'm still undecided myself. I'm going to get this front end finished up, sort the back end out, and then we'll have a look when it's all finished. I may still swap it out. We will see. So I'm going to crack on with this. I'll catch up with you guys at the rear end. So I've already been out and swapped the suspension springs all for black. I didn't like them. They weren't the greatest. Basically is all I've changed. Let's get in and get this together. I've gone for red knuckle housings at the back because it lets you. Again, black on the lower sport arms, red on the higher sport arms, and the suspension now is red with black springs instead of red with red springs. It does look a whole lot better, I think. Personally, I did kind of like it in the all red, but it was just a little bit too much. Let's just get these bits up here finished, and then we'll get the engine bay sorted out. Obviously, I can't even attempt to put the wheels back on this car yet at the back, because of them rear drive axles connecting. I said that with inverted commas, straight into the gearbox, which obviously isn't there. So that is all the underside finished, looking pretty good, and it's black and red, in my opinion. Very happy with that. But it is time, and let's move on. Let's get this suspension... No, we just finished that. Let's get this engine bay sorted out. There really isn't much to go in this engine bay, apart from obviously the engine itself. We have an oil filter, painted red. We have the ECU, That is it. The exhaust needs to go underneath. I'm not 100% sure whether this goes on the engine or not, but I'll leave it to the end. We've got ourselves a shiny new battery, and we need to get up the front here to this fuse box, which I have painted black, and that is pretty much it. Obviously, apart from the fuel tank, but that's accessed underneath. So we'll sort that one out later on when we come to do the rest of the exhaust and all of that. So now it's time to go on and get that engine built. So let's jump over to the engine stand and we'll get that one built up. And I'll see you guys in a second. Engine bay is all back together. Let's head on now and get this engine back together. Everything is painted. That is painted. Well, not everything is painted that's paintable on it for a change. But this is one of my favorite engines to build. I absolutely love building this engine because it's just the way it just clams together like a clamshell. Love this engine, I really do. I'm going to crack on and get a few of these bits done just to get us started, and I'll catch up with you guys in a few moments. This is one of the main things I like about this engine, as I say, with the clamshell. Half of it is on, throw the other half on, and obviously this is painted in that metallic red that the car is in, and I think it looks absolutely great. I love how it looks. I haven't painted these, I've just left these in their performance-y chrome colours because, well, I think they look cool that way. So I'm going to get on and get a few more of these bits done, and I'll catch up with you guys in a few moments when I've done a bit more. One side of the engine is together, looking pretty snazzy. It is time to get the second side on. As you can see here, I've done the covers in the red, the timing covers in the black there, and everything else is just in its chrome, its standard colour around there. There is more to go on the top of this engine. This probably looks a bit too much at the moment, but it won't in a few moments. Well, maybe not in a few moments. Well, it will be for you. But yeah, it's going to look a lot better in a few moments. It looks a bit too red at the moment, but we'll jump back to it in a second. Coming towards the end now, guys. It is still looking a bit red at the moment, but once this air filter goes on, it is going to look totally different, because it does black out quite a lot. Finishing touches are my lovely contrasting red clips, one of my favourite things to put on an engine in this game. There it is, all finished. I think that looks absolutely stunning in the black and red. All of them chrome bits mostly covered up from all the covers, just the exhaust manifold and the turbocharger sticking out in that chrome. We've got a black fan with a red housing, which I think looks great in a black casing, which just, I love the way this engine's turned out in this black and red. I think it looks stunning. Let's move over. Let's get it dropped in the car. Have I brought the engine crane out to the car? No, I haven't. Let's grab that. Let's get it in. And then we need to sort the wheels out for this car and then get everything else just buttoned up, get the last few bits polished off, and this car will be finished. And look at that. It is very red inside that engine bay. Maybe it is a little too red. Maybe. I don't know. I quite like it. Maybe I should have swapped the blacks and the reds. It wouldn't have worked. Metal colours. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. I think that looks stunning. I'd be proud if that was my own car. That lovely red engine sat in that engine bay. That looks sweet. But let's move on. It's time to get some wheels on this car and get this car buttoned up and finished off, ready to go. Here we are then with the finished slammed Beetle, or stance Beetle, whatever you want to call it. Took me a long old time to finish these wheels off. As you can see, I have tinted the windows. Obviously, you know the drill, 100% all the way around the back. And I think I went for a 65 on the windshield. But for the rims, I went for the rim at 23As. Front and back, they look really smart. The fronts are a 16-inch wheel with a 205 width and a 45 profile to bring it up enough to be drivable. And the rears are a 15-inch rim with a 295 width and a 40 profile. But because they're so wide, they have got a big old profile on them there. Much bigger than at the front, even though the front is 45 and the back is 40. But I love how this car has turned out. Obviously, it's not officially 100% finished because I don't have that front bumper on there. I will put it on just before I sell it, just to get a realistic value. If I sell it, I may not sell it. I really do like this car. Has been a lot of fun. I love this big old wing. And that engine, I did obviously put the intercooler in there as well. But that engine in the red and black looks absolutely stunning in there. Mixed with these black wheels and the black trim absolutely everywhere. This thing looks absolutely incredible. So very happy with it. Let's jump inside and see what this one sounds like. And also have a look at this interior. I love this. The black and red has just worked out so well. What does it sound like though? That's a good rumble. I like that. That sounds very good for a Beetle. Let's get it on the dyno and see what horsepower it's got. Look at the Mustang headlights through the window. They look a bit weird. Anyway, let's get it onto the dyno. So we had the 300 horsepower from the mighty B6 engine. With the performance parts, how much power have we managed to squeeze out? An additional 241 horsepower, 81%. That is incredible. Boosting us up to 541 horsepower. Let's see what we can get speed-wise on the top speed track. Here we are then at the track. Let's get this one going and see what we can get up to. Come on, you lovely little Beetle. Bit of whip there. Can we get it straight again? Probably not. What are we going to top out at? Come on, little Beetle. Bits of knocks and bangs. It likes to drift off sideways a little bit. This is doing great. Nearly 400 kilometers an hour. There it is. What are we going to top out at? Oh, probably that by the looks of it. But 411 kilometers an hour from a Volkswagen Beetle is insane. Very, very happy with that. Very happy indeed. So here she is then, all finished. 411 kilometers an hour. Putting it 17th in our leaderboard. Very, very good. Definitely top half. Way in the top half there. Very happy with how this Beetle performed on the track. And even happier with how it looks. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy with the way this turned out. I really am. I wish there was more parking out the front, because I'm definitely keeping this Beetle. One, because it looks incredible. And two, as I'm about to tell you, this one for me was not very profitable. So let's have a look. Let's jump into some facts and figures very quickly. So obviously 390,000 kilometers, a very, very high mileage car, this one. We did manage to get an extra 81% out of that engine, now with 541 horsepower. But here's the real kicker. I spent 15,655 on the car, which is fantastic. Absolutely great deal. I spent... Bearing in mind I messed up with the wheels quite a lot. It took me about an hour and a half to get the wheels right, to get it the right level off the ground and stuff like that. But I spent 74,481 modifying this car today, pitting our total spend at 90,136 and our actual profit at 543. That is the lowest it has ever been, and it is for that reason, and mostly that reason, that I'm going to keep this one. I say mostly that reason. Look at it. It is absolutely stunning. She is a thing of beauty. I've put the front bumper on just to get a realistic value. But if I take that one off and then we have a go back in, you can see 81,000. I'm actually losing money without that front bumper on, which I prefer it anyway. So we're going to leave that one off. It is time to move this over to the parking. So you're now out the way, and you now, lovely Beetle, will take that place's spot in, garage spot number 1. So now we've got a Volkswagen Beetle slammed in the Stance Edition, looking great, and the electric Ford Mustang with its electric green elements on it, I suppose, looking absolutely fantastic. But what have we got up next? Up next, we have a disco in the garage. That's right, we're having a bit of a disco. We have the last of the Land Rover DLC that I haven't dealt with yet, the Land Rover Discovery. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into this one. As you can tell, nothing wrong with the outside at all with this one, condition-wise, body, everything. I mean, we're up in the plus 85s, up towards the 90. I did pick it up from the auction, and I didn't get completely ripped off. I did spend a lot on it, 117,000, but it's still undervalued as it stands at the moment. Will it be profitable by the time I've played around with it? Put some performance parts in this beast of an engine. Look at this one. It is insane. I like the look of this one. That is why I saved it till last, because this is the V6 AJD. 260 starting horsepower. How much can we add to that with the performance parts? We will find out. Not much we can do with the body. We're just going to have to pick a cool colour to go with it. Tint out the windows. Maybe do something a bit over the top and a bit funky with this one. We shall see. You'll have to tune in next time to find out. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.